our friend Rafael Laverde asks if Dr. Craig Wright will take my suggestion at petitioning the court to sell off some of the early Bitcoin Genesis transactional wallet addresses. And Rafael says, if he had the keys, what would his logical reasoning be not to do as you suggested? So let's kind of recap a little bit here. This is Gavin Mehl, and we did a bunch of videos here on the COPA v. Wright trial, and now we've got a verdict out from the court freezing Dr. Wright's $6 million of his assets globally. And he's supposed to... Now let's just kind of read the instructions here on what's going on with this case for the Satoshi identity trial. All right, so it says here, points of the draft order. Mr. Bradley, Casey addressed me on various points, etc. While reserving Dr. Wright's position generally, Mr. Bergen submitted that the asset disclosure provision information confirmation should only take place after the return date. I disagree. And the circumstance of this case is in the interest of justice for Dr. Wright to provide a clear explanation of his assets as early as possible. The return date is Friday the 12th of April, 2024, with provisions of information due by 4 p.m. on Friday, April 5th, and an affidavit due on 4 p.m. on Wednesday, April 10th. So today, there's going to be some sort of an informational provision submitted to the court. And that's today's Friday the 5th. So we haven't seen that yet, but apparently there'll be something submitted from the Dr. Wright side. And then an affidavit will be submitted on the 10th, okay? And then Friday the 12th is going to be the return date for his disclosure of his assets. Now, within those provisions there, I would say by the 12th, no later, or even as early as of today, okay, he could include a petition to the court and ask the court for instructions to liquidate some of his assets on how to do it. And it sounds like it maybe even be a little premature. It's just an informational provision at this point. So it sounds like he's just going to do an informational provision at this point today, and then he's supposed to disclose assets by Wednesday with an affidavit, and then there's going to be potentially a hearing on the 12th. So it may actually come after that. Now that I'm looking at that, it may actually come after that, after these disclosure procedures happen. Then shortly thereafter, he could motion the court for permission, because he's going to have to ask permission to, in a hopium sense, right? Let's say for anyone who's holding on to like, oh, Dr. Wright Satoshi. And I'm just saying, right now the court said he's not. So in a hopium sense, for somebody who believes he has access to the key to the Genesis wallet that what the 26.9 BTC were sent to, or the block 9, now would be the time to start kind of thinking in his head of motioning the court to liquidate those assets. Because then there's no, if the court granted it, and if he had those keys, then in a legal sense, he would be completely protected from any sort of like legal repercussions or, ramifications, because the court authorized him to do it. So it would be, in a way, poetic justice, if in a hopium sense, he even could do that, right? So that's where we're at right now. We don't know. Can he do that? We don't know. According to the court, he's not Satoshi. So according to the court, he can't do that. So, I mean, in a poetic justice, kind of a funny way, wouldn't it be entertaining if he did file such a motion or petition to sell some of those, either the Genesis block or the block 9 BTC to pay off this debt, So looks like it's going to be a little longer though before it happens. I think I'm incorrect on it happening by the 12th, because it looks like there's just some sort of disclosures that need to be, like, disclosure needs to happen by the 12th, through affidavits. And then after these disclosures happen, then potentially he has the potentially do a motion. So I think this is going to string out longer than the 12th. It's just my perspective. From a non-lawyer's perspective in California, and I ain't in the case, and I don't know this UK stuff law. I'm just telling it like it is, man, as I read it and see it. So, thanks, Rafael, for the question. Still working on some potential things about doing a DGen Fest in Toronto. We've got to put more details together on that. It looks like it's happening. It's just a matter of, anyways, more details to come on that. Rafael and I are working on putting that together. So ultimately, I definitely was back at the Fairmont here this week. I'll be back there this weekend again. And, you know, I am very working closely with them about doing like an annual event there for sure. Annual event. I'd like to do it more than annual event, but definitely an annual event where we do like another hackathon there. So that'd be super cool. And thank you everybody for watching. Thanks for the question, Rafael. Be sure to subscribe, share the video. Thanks for everybody who do it on Twitter and like it. Leave a comment below. And hit the notification bells. I'll see you at the top.